accomplished to disturb, to break the Satan that he had, the kittug that he had against him and Chassidim. And we saw that it means a lot to the Rebbe. It must be something really important. And that alone is simcha. The Rebbe said the simcha and the whole Seder Shel. The Rebbe said,
Thank you.
Everybody remembers how the Rebbe told people should bring Yonis. He's not going to read it, just he'll take it to the oil. Wherever people should go, in other cities, if there's oil there for different tzaddikim, go there. It's a special time, and I can't always bet now is good because it's that simcha. The whole Seder Shtal is a clip was this battle. It's a Gilal Kus. It's Gilal Kus. In other words, when the king is in a good mood, then it's acceptable. It's possible. He'll accept you. Our cautious and attack the whole. A lot of Eden and the whole world. People sent to the Rebbe thousands of figurines. So something. If people didn't write opinion today to the Rebbe, it's stupid. The Rebbe says today is a day. Kannst euch beten what they will. Just write opinion, and people didn't even spend the time for that. You can't say. No one could say he has no problems. I don't believe there's anybody here by the table who doesn't have problems. And the person knows that the man, the one who's going to save your problems, is the Eibishter. And Tzaddik Hadoyer. And if the Rebbe said today is a time to ask the Tzaddik Hadoyer to be mispal for you, and that today is a good day, your answer should be, so davar aposhet that who wouldn't do it? If you didn't do it, it's a question. What means it? Means you don't know, you don't have no problems, or you don't believe there's someone who could help you. Rahman al-Islam. That it needs alone a cheshbon nefesh. The point is that it's important to tell people also that it sounds like there's only hey Tevis, because the Rebbe said it on Zayin Tevis. Seems like there's a whole week times. This Eis Ratzim continues, and if someone didn't write yet, even if you wrote, but you have a friend who didn't write yet, you can tell him, should send it settled to the Rebbe. Send the oil at telephone, send it settled, and now's the right time. It's Eis Ratzim. That's one part which is important. But there's a very important thing that people overlook. Hey Tevis, the Rebbe said you're supposed to learn from the kindness of the Tzaddik and Neged. So you're supposed to what brought to this whole problem, and you have to fix it. So the Rebbe said 2 words, 2 sentences. Tzaddik and Neged said, the people today, this movement today, doesn't need Sforim. They don't see that. What do you need a Sforim for? 1 word. This is Bob Shaw that these Sforim out makes this whole Afotzes Rayonis comes from this Sforim. So we're supposed to learn from that to continue. The Rebbe said you have to continue in the Afotzes Hamayones. You should bring the Afotzes Hayadus. There is 2 parts in the mitzvah Afotzes. But the Baal Shem Tov told, what the Mashiach told the Baal Shem Tov, when you put by Nesechel Chutza, to explain Chassidus. To let everybody should learn Chassidus. That's going to be Mashiach. Part of Chassidus, the Rebbe explains it. Part of Chassidus means seriously commitment to Hashem, to want to bring God dealing with Achtoinim. Means that in case the Yidden who still don't know about the Eibush, that should make you, if you learn Chassidus well enough, they'll make you how, and you'll mean Chassidus. Not just you learn, you'll understand it, how deep and right Chassidus is. That should convince you that you should give your life to do what the Eibishter wants. Which part of that is that you should bring Yiddishkeit to the whole world, even to learn Chassidus. So the Shakel V'Tarya is, and it's very important. He says the Tzaddik Neged is a clip that says that Lubavitch today has a new mission. There used to be the first 6 rabbis had one way of thinking. Today become a new thing. The whole chassid is supposed to be to do outreach work. But the Rebbe talked about that. It's for sure that the Rebbe keeps on talking about that. But the taina was that to do outreach work, you need to have better go to college, learn a little bit, learn good speaking, learn how to speak well, get yourself a nice tie, get yourself a nice suit, and be able to know how to speak Swahili to the rich people. That's all you gotta know. You don't have to learn Chassidus. You don't have to make Chassidus part of your life in order to be this fulfill this mission of Mekarev Zayin Eden to the mission, because there's different other things important. So who needs the whole Chassidus for? That's the shtalshelis. For that comes such a kind of a klippe of this whole time in the so-called case to say the old Lubavitch is already belongs in the mothballs. Who needs this? Who needs? How many people here on the table know the difference between Eura Teure and Eura Teure? How many people around here at the table know what means Pirish HaMidas from Mittel Rebbe? You ever saw that sefer? You ever opened up? Does anybody learn Mamorim on older Rabbein? There's so many Mamorim on the Rabbein. For the Rebbe alone, there's so much. From earlier generations. This is a whole continuation from the Alter Rebbe, from the Baal Shem Tov, which the Hashpor says in the Kuntres in Yom Tov Chassidus. Chassidus is Yichidish Nefesh and is Nimshach through Seichel, because Pnimis Abba, Pnimis Atik. So the Etzem HaNefesh Dike Hashpor of Chassidus for the Rabbeim starts working at the person through learning Chassidus. Then you learn Chassidus the way the Rabbeim want us to learn Chassidus. You don't have to learn a million Mamorim, but you should learn the Maimah to understand and learn such Mamorim that you're convinced about that the truth of Emes Hashem La'olam, nothing exists besides Hashem. It's not worth to do anything because Hashem does anything everything anyway. If you do what the Eibishter wants, there will be a keli which will get his brachas. To convince ourselves like that, we need time to spend to learn the Maimah in a way that it should convince us. If you learn the Maimah just about Atik ve'Arich and it's not speaking to you directly, you didn't get the point. There's Mamorim that is important to add on to the knowledge. But the main thing is to understand Ardusi is Vorach, and that person is supposed to be vatal himself to the Eibishter. The whole life is only, our whole living is only there to the Niloine Veresi, El Shamish is Krimi. Then the person has to work day in and day out for his whole life, because even if one day he stays in the Soyuz, next day he loses it. So when a person comes to the conclusion, after learning Chassidus, how much really he should give himself over to the Eibishter, and he goes like that, then he'll go, he's want to make his whole life and his family's life should be based on, we got to do what the Eibishter wants. And if that is necessity, that there's even in the world who don't know yet about the Eibishter, then it's a very, that's my most important thing in the world of my life, that I should look for people that I could help. But if you don't care enough, if you don't care about Hashem Yisborach and how we bottle Ibegems for the Meibishten, why should you go out of your way to go on the shlichus or even spend time in the day with other people if it's going to take away from your lunchtime, it's going to take away from your personal interest? It's not going to push you. You'll only do it if you're going to get covered, if you only get a nice car, but you're not going to do it for the Indian. This is what the Rebbe says Hey Tevis is about, that the Taina was that people, that there's a thought out there that the old Lubavitch, which needed Svarim, that's what Svarim is about. Like the Rebbetzin said that the Rebbe made the library so people should know knowledge you get from Lubavitch. The Lubavitch is explaining knowledge about the Eibshter, about explaining the things that happen in the world, how you should react to it. That the Friedrich Rebbe started already, the union of Apotzos Amayonis, that's the Toitzor, that's the Pearl Mamish, for learning to see this seriously. I go around sometimes speaking to different places, bringing people. I came to a place that there was Yishvat. They told me, because it's society, don't talk about the Rebbe. Only talk about the Friedrich Rebbe. I told him, you know the Friedrich Rebbe was. He went to Mesias Nefesh. From maybe, you know how he went to Mesias Nefesh, maybe he planted, you should see this, and you should see this, and people should go to Mesias Nefesh. And that's why today everybody is going to Shlichus, because they learn so much Chassidus. People are going to Shlichus. The Rebbe is extending this, helping people that should go to Shlichus because of Kaplan. Man lernt das echt Chassidus. Man versteht die ganze Lemmes, da ist eine Meibisches. So this is what the Rebbe said. That was the Taina. That's why they felt this Lubavitch today is not no difference if there will be another Sefer, Docha Sefer, Kiss for the Sefer. You have it Svarim over here, how many times you open it up? Could it be, you know, in every sheker there must be some kind of emes. There must be that there's some kind of people still around who don't care about Svarim. This is what the Rebbe said, that you can't do what we're doing today. The whole Lubavitch today, what's working is because there's people who are learning Chassidus, who believe in the Eibishter, believe in truth, and they are teaching other people also that the Ibergems are some Rem, and to go out, and even to go on Shlichus, the wives and the children, everything will become part of your whole life, that your life should be the Meibishers, Rems. The Rebbe says the hero from that is the Nitzochem from the Sforim, the Nitzochem that the Sforim are one, that they are important. That people have, that's why they have to go buy Sforim, learn the Sforim. A Chassid can't do what the Rabbi live a life, a Lubavitcher life, a true Lubavitcher life, if he doesn't learn the Sforim. If he doesn't learn Chassidus, and doesn't learn Nigla even, if he doesn't learn, he can't, that's not a Lubavitcher Chassid. That could be a Young Israel rabbi. A Young Israel also is doing outreach, you know. Young Israel is this, we look for some, the Akiva, there are a lot of kind of people who do outreach. What's the difference between a Chassid doing outreach? None of them go up to Mesias Nefesh, not to do a favor to someone else. They just get for the job. And a Chassid goes because my whole life is to be the Meibush. So if I have a few dollars, I'll appreciate it. If not, I have to do anyway. So this feeling, and we have to give it on to our children. This Lubavitch shouldn't die. It's a achrayis from people today. It's not just that clipper. If the clip is still around, if the clipper wasn't knocked down, we say the court knocked it down, but there's still people today who think such a thing. Hey Davis should remind us that it was a clipper, and the Rebbe go through the clipper in general. Everybody personal should take from that we have to really take learning Torah, learning Chassidus seriously, and our life should be a Chassidish life. Chaim.